It's so neat.
You're watching the internet's leading early childhood innovation channel. Each week, we release new videos spotlighting innovation in preschools, kindergartens, and early childhood centers from all over the world. Today, we have an action-packed video for you. The educational leader, Catherine, showed me around the Lake Center at Above and Beyond. There were so many neat activities going on, and I was really impressed as to how they all seamlessly fit together. But before we dive into it, make sure you've subscribed as well as hit the bell to turn on notifications. If you're liking the content, go ahead and like this video. It really helps to support our channel.
Pooh Bear watches us and says hello and goodbye to the children as they come in, and they are always quite committed to saying hello to him as well, and occasionally he gets a cuddle. The connection with our environment and our commitment to really nurture the children and taking care of the environment is really important. We have 4 rooms in the centre, which again is quite a luxury. And so our nursery is with just the babies until they're really confidently walking. And we're not so much enamoured with the age, but their developmental stage. So just recently our staff, because we've got a couple of new staff, we've been talking about what are the milestones that we look for that give us indication that they're ready to transition into a new phase, and those transitioning are really important for us as well. So these are our babies. So as I say, our nurseries, our youngest is 5 months. Yeah, once they're really confidently walking, we'll transition them through. So this is Ryan. And so you can see our little ones are very confident and settled and happy. They at the moment are doing an amazing little project to grow potatoes. We've been setting up some red buckets and growing potatoes for so that the children can give something to their parents. So if you sort of head this way, you can see the beginning of this project. And so they started by putting the dirt in and then choosing their potato, seeding potato to pop in. And as we head round the centre, you'll see the fact that, but you can see that we've finally seen some potatoes growing. We have a strong arts-based curriculum underpinning our centre, so the sensory experiential, so there's some gloop there that they just play with, feel, create with. Is quite
so
cool.
What's in here?
Renelle, do you want to just talk about the little gloop pictures? Because they've got chia seeds and what's in?
Seeds and corn flour and water.
Wow.
Yeah.
How simple and creative.
Yeah, and it feels quite cool, hey? So the transition period too for us is really important. So when someone is ready to transition, we take them into this environment with their teacher, then we bring one of their teachers over to see them in that environment. Initially they might come for a little while but go back there to sleep, so all those, so that security of moving into a new space, because as you can see it's a much bigger space. Right. We had one child particularly that seemed quite enamoured with eating the paint, and so what's morphed from that perspective, the team had a discussion what they could do about that and decided that they'd investigate and research into natural paints, and so that started a process of using vegetables and like boiling up beetroot and using beetroot to colour paint and using turmeric and to make yellow, and at the same time another child had quite a fascination with the story Jack and the Beanstalk, and so they used cocoa and things to actually create their own Jack and the Beanstalk with natural paints, which then morphed into growing some beans, and it's really lovely. You'll see at the top, the children have just loved to act out, we'll use the props to pull together the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. So as you can see why they have to be sturdy on their feet as they morph into the toddler room, and you can see some of the fruit of their labour literally. So they've been growing their vegetables, and the absolute sense of joy as to
watch it grow,
watch it pop through, it has just been fantastic. And now that again, which has been an interesting link with the themes that have been happening in the older rooms, watching the blossoms and the bees beginning to come, and then so that's been linking with what's been happening with the older children. So This is Josie.
Hi.
And Izzy. And Josie has her own beehive.
Yes.
And supplies me with a regular source of honey.
Oh,
yeah,
how
I take
lovely.
it as a bribe, and usually it works.
Yeah.
So she's just brought in one of her beehive boxes that just needs a little bit of a zhuzh. And so the children have been helping her paint that obviously today. But Josie, do you want to just talk a little bit about what you did previously with your hive equipment?
Yeah, well, like I care about bees a lot, and you know I brought in my bee suit and everything, which is inside at the moment. But I brought it in just to give the kids a sense of that protection I use when the bees, because the bees can hurt you and things. And we have had a few bees down at the lavender and everything, so I've taught them to care for them and not hit them with spades and things.
Exactly. As Nevi one day told me proudly that she learnt you don't squeeze bees. Because we've had this amazing focus and fascination on honeybees. They were quite one of the teachers read a story about the concern and the place of bees in our world. Yeah. But it's also quite good for them to just learn to respect nature and the cycle of things and how one thing feeds to another. And so we've been talking about how the bees need to pollinate the flowers, which give us the lemons to make their own lemonade. Wow. And so they're making lemonade, and each child will have a bottle to take home. And again, it sort of links into that environmental theme that we have of nurturing and the curiosity and the understanding and the importance of caring for our world. Amelia, squeeze her lemon.
And then it'll catch all the pips.
No?
You can squeeze together.
Oh, Michelle would like you to help.
More juice here. Should we tip some of that in, Charlie? Can you have a turn now? Yeah, that's
Does it taste the same or different to the lemon?
Mix it now.
Good afternoon, Liam.
Just a lemonade. Oh, yeah.
Did you help make this lemonade? Carter, did you help make it? Did you help make it, Lauren? Fantastic.
I think Bentley didn't like his. Maybe it was a little bit too sharp. I think most kids wanted more. Put your tissues in the rubbish bin. If you don't want your drink, just put it on the bench inside.
And now we're enjoying the produce that we have been involved in growing. So this week we had a bumper crop of spinach. So our cook used the spinach to make a frittata for us. So we're going to ask Zara and Ruby here to go and pick some of our silver beet, and then one bag is going to go to Ava, who's waiting for some silver beet to make us our afternoon tea, and the other one is going to go next door to our community garden store.
So we first started with our bee project, and we were looking into flowers and pollination, and the children learnt all about why we need bees, both for all the honey that they give us, and then also the pollination side of things. And that sort of led to us doing planting and more planting of vegetables, and the children have learned how to take care of all of the vegetables in our garden here, so they know not to come onto the garden, and they know that it needs watering if it's been too dry and everything like that. And then we often pick our vegetables and we'll take them to Ava and she'll do some cooking with them.
So we have the amazing privilege of having a fantastic cook, and so today we know that she's waiting for the spinach that we've grown to be able to finish off the afternoon tea preparation for the children. So then you can fantastic.
Can you stir it for me?
Gently around. Pop it in there. Wow. Yeah.
For our family, friends and food, we say thank you.
Shall we? See what Ava made yummy? A little bit more?
Hi.
We're planting sunflowers.
Oh.
Because now we are currently focusing on the natural world.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing some, recycling things and the planting, animals, all those sort of things about the natural world.
So today we're going to be making some beeswax wraps with the children and following on from our bee unit.
We're not doing it today, but when the stock arrives, we have ordered enough essential oils, some carrier oils, some little rollables, and we're going to be creating our own perfume. They're quite often pretending to spritz perfume, and I'm a mum and I'm off to go have a coffee. So we brought in our old perfume bottles and they were just drawn into them and they loved spraying perfume. And one day I thought, as a provocation, I'd set up outside some different jars and some little flowers that I'd gathered from around the place and just see what they would do with them. And a few of the girls started popping them together going, it smells really nice. So I thought, hey, how awesome would it be to tie into this natural world and the arts-based curriculum and the creativity by enabling them to be able to make their own perfume, something that they're so interested in, but it's super safe for them to, because it's got none of the nasty chemicals in, it's all natural, and we just put it in their hands. If they want to do it, let's go with it. If they don't want to, that's fine. Right. Same with the sewing projects. If they don't, they were tired of doing one thing. They said, can we do something new? Of course. We even took them to the shops. Yeah, everything. They're in the whole process. They come to the shops, they choose the material. So they're involved in the whole process.
We've got a produce, a local community food sort of bank, and so we've been putting some of our surplus into there. Yesterday, as Emma said, Hal took a huge amount of the silver beet to the community store. And I just love the little sort of catchphrase that it's the sharing is caring. And if you actually look, there, the children are talking about take what you need, give what you can. And there's been all sorts of things from magazines to fresh buns. We have to watch it very carefully, of course, but just being able to be a hotspot for the community. And it's just really good for the children to get that real sense of contributing to the community.
So much to take pride in.
Well, I think so. As you see, you've seen us as we are. We haven't invented anything for you for today because we haven't had time to do that. But, all the things that were actually naturally happening in the centre, I do feel really proud.
Wow, that was a pretty cool centre. What did you think? I personally just love seeing how the children's collective interest in honeybees led to so many unique experiences. And this was all because the educators were really receptive to the children's interest. So we've run out of time for today. However, next week we're going to sit down with Catherine and have a deeper discussion. We're going to cover a wide range of topics from sustainability and the environment, all the way to structure and the importance of letting children be bored. So we'll see you next week. Thanks again, and remember, everyone's an innovator.